And I want to read this quote because it's so beautiful. You write, and I quote, "Radical repair in our human lives and relationships also involves innovation and creativity. And it's not simply a matter of putting things back to the way they once were. As Elizabeth Spellman reminds us, repair involves something distinctly different from the original creation, but also something distinctly different from its accidental or deliberate destruction, its abandonment. Radical repair," and I quote, and I love this. I'm a preacher, so this just felt good coming off the tongue. "Radical repair brings about a new state, different from both creation and destruction, which we can only reach with human ingenuity and creative adaptation."
Yeah.
When you wrote that line, tell me what was going through your head at that line. You got to give it to me. Give it to the crowd. We need to hear the story.
Here's the thing, Dante. As you're reading, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what's next. I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember. But I would say this. I mean, one of the things that I was thinking about, and I think what I find liberating about it is twofold. For one, I think us as human beings, we have a tendency to suffer from nostalgia, right? We think that the past was the best thing ever. And I want to admit, I suffer from nostalgia. I collect a whole bunch of things that's old school, records, video games. I'm old school because I think the old school was the best school, right? So it's a sense of nostalgia of the past was the best. But then also, I think as human beings, we have a tendency to have magical utopian thinking. Where we think the future is going to be better. And I think that when we think about, we have a tendency to take both of those kinds of thinking when we engage in any kind of reparative, reconciliatory, redemptive healing work. That for one, we try to aim at, let's try to get the relationship back to the way that it was, because the way that it was the best state of affairs. So that's one way, right? And then the other way, we have a tendency to think, if you forgive, our relationship is going to be the best thing that it's going to be the best thing ever created. And I think the challenge is when we're going about radical repair, is not to think about it in those two extremes, right? That what we end up, if we continue to be in a relationship or even thinking about ourselves, who we end up becoming may not be who we were. But I find beauty in that. And what our relationship may end up becoming may not be what we always thought that it would be. And we got to be okay with that. And I think there's beauty in the middle ground, right? It's beauty in the middle ground. And I think the distraction is the nostalgia and the utopian thinking. And so we try to make people do this, and we try to make victims do this and tell them not to do this because we want it to look this particular way. But I think if we engage in the work of radical repair, which requires an innovation of sorts, because the solutions that worked for our relationship, that will work for us personally in the past, for our ancestors, for our community, may not be what will work for us going forward, right? And that's where it comes with ingenuity, right? We may be forced to let go of a lot of popular wisdom. That's what I refer to as, creativity, right? But I think engaging in what I call radical repair, which is a repair that's collaborative, that gets to the roots of the problems, that's about innovation. I think engaging in that work is going to get us results that we haven't even thought of. And I think that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the work. That's the beauty of radical repair. And just to say something about radical repair, I think that what a lot of people have done is they know they want something different. They want to recover in the aftermath of wrongdoing. And they have these kind of reparative aims. And the problem is they think that forgiveness is the aim, but it's just one way to get us to the ultimate aim. And I think once we accept that forgiveness is a way, it's not the way, what we ultimately want is repair, then I think that's going to solve a whole bunch of pace problems, outcome problems that I kind of highlight in the book. But I think engaging in the work of radical repair with or without forgiveness is always worth the effort.
I'm going to say amen to that.